Peter Dinklage, it's like, well, of course, cast him. He's Peter Dinklage. He's amazing. But in many ways, I assume, and not knowing this, but I'm sure he grew up seeing Hervé as, this is my representation on TV. This is how I grew up watching. And seeing this and seeing, like, this is a big deal for him to step into this role, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's funny having done, got to know Pete and become very close with Pete and done press with him for the last couple of weeks. I think he would say, that he wouldn't have had much of a sort of idea of who Hervé was beyond what everyone else knew, really. And I think Pete sort of obviously had an awareness of him and also being, of this relatively same stature, height-wise and stuff. But it wasn't as much as you'd think, I don't think it was something that... Pete saw him as like an example of what little people could achieve or anything like that.
And he studied theatre and came up in his own and started his own theatre company. A completely different sort of trajectory. Totally.
And yeah, the comparisons are going to be drawn and understandably so. But I think Pete's always just seen himself as just this guy who's an actor who's trying to make it like every other actor, and.
Yeah, I mean, he's great about that. He says, I think he wants all of us to feel like the fact that he's a dwarf, quote unquote, is the third or fourth thing about him. The first thing is, he's an actor. The second thing is, and he would say this, he's devilishly charming and handsome. And the third that he's not funny. And the fourth that he's a quote unquote dwarf. And that's what's so great. And I think that's where Hervé and Peter diverge, as you so clearly stated. Hervé was not an actor. Hervé was a painter who sort of fell into acting. Peter is a true actor, and so he's sort of a good actor is playing a not very good actor.
Right, their trajectories are very different.
And I think Hervé's life, in a way, served as a cautionary tale. It's like this is exactly what not to do, not to play into the stereotype, not to be defined by the physical limitations or your situation.